Now, I'm hardly the first person to do a video about how to clean a biathlon rifle, but I'm going to do something a little different here. I'm going to try to do this video POV style, so that way you can see exactly what I'm doing, first person view. So I'm going to try it this way. The first items that we're going to need are some Allen wrenches. Now I have a set here with a couple different sizes, but for the most part, this is the tool that you are going to need. This bendy one with the little whoop whoop in the middle of it, this should be able to handle most of your needs. Next, you're going to need some screwdrivers. You never know when you're going to come across something that you'll need a screwdriver for, so it's always good to just keep these in your rifle case. Now to clean your rifle, you're going to need some brushes. Now staying on the topic of dental equipment, you're going to want a dental pick. Now you can buy these on Amazon, or next time you're at the dentist's office, ask if they have some old ones lying around and they might give it to you. This is really good for scratching off some of that dirt in the really hard to reach areas. Next thing you're going to need is a bore snake. Now, the jury's out about the bore snake. Some people say never clean your rifle with the bore snake. Other people say you can do it. I've always cleaned mine with a bore snake, and I'll show you how to do it. But this is a super simple and easy way to clean your barrel. Next, you're going to need some patches, a rag, the Hoppe's number 9, both the lubricating gun oil and the gun bore cleaner. And finally, a little secret weapon, a little bit of dust buster. All right, let's get into cleaning the rifle now. First thing I like to do is I like to take the magazines out and set them aside. Next, we want to take the rifle part off of the stock. So if you flip the rifle upside down, you'll see these two bedding bolts in here. There's a bedding bolt tucked down in here and a bedding bolt tucked down in here. Yes, I do have a custom stock, but the way that the rifle sits onto the stock is the same for every single rifle. So I'll grab my Allen wrench and I'll unscrew these guys. Now you don't want to lose these, so place them somewhere where you're not going to lose them. Okay, next, we'll detach the rifle from the stock. And then you can set your stock aside. Now, we just have the plain rifle out here by itself with no stock. Next thing we want to do is we want to take the bolt out of the rifle. So to do that, we're going to open the bolt and we're going to come back here to this piece on the back and we're going to pull it back. So pull it towards you and then rotate it so that way this little notch right here falls in line with this key. And then this key should just slide right out, but this key slides right out. And again, don't lose it. Next, we're going to unscrew this thread right here that keeps the bolt attached to the rifle. So just give it a nice turn like this. So now it's nice and loose. And from here, you should be able to pull the bolt right out of the rifle. Just like that. So the most important part when it comes to cleaning the rifle is actually right here, where the bullet actually enters the chamber. So much gunk can build up right here. You know, your bolt not closing all the way, or maybe you're having trouble ejecting brass. It's probably coming from this area. So when you clean your rifle, you want to focus a lot on this area. The best way to do this is to take a brush and just start brushing it out. Now for the sake of moving on in this video, I'm not going to go too hard on the cleaning, but that's what you want to do. Looking at my rifle right now, I see I got some gunk build up back here for some reason, so I'm going to spend some time back there. There are a bunch of places that gunk can build up on the rifle, so look around the entire rifle and see, is there gunk somewhere? And if so, get rid of it, because you definitely don't want that gunk building up. It's always good to take a toothbrush and try to stick it in through here, clean it up, especially facing forward like this. Really good to clean all this stuff out because this is where all the gunk is going to be. In here, in this square box, is the trigger mechanism, and it's really, really finicky. I do not suggest sticking anything in here, not even a toothbrush, not a rag or anything, because if you get like a little fiber in there or anything from a rag, it can really mess up your whole trigger mechanism. So that's where I like to take our compressed air. I like to do the same thing with my sights. So there's two types of cleaning, I would say. There's actual cleaning, and then there's just removing all the gunk. That was the removing of the gunk. I would recommend removing the gunk maybe every other week, depending on how much you're shooting. You don't have to take your rifle this far apart to remove the gunk every other week. But if you can just get in here and again, clean out all the gunk where the bullet actually slides into the barrel, that will really help you in the long run. Right next to the chamber, we have the exhaust port right here. And this is where the toothpick comes in handy. You can stick it in here, wipe it around, and see how much gunk comes out from inside the chamber. And then we'll go back, get a little bit more maybe. So take some time in the exhaust chamber and get all that gunk out. Then I want you to take the toothpick and then in here, if you can see, next to where the bullet goes into the chamber, there's actually these two little holes for the bolt. That can get super gunky. So take your dental pick and get on in there and get all that gunk out. Go up around the rim here. That's all stuff that's going to cause a misfire, cause a bolting issue. It's funny, I'm realizing now I probably should have been cleaning my rifle a little bit more often. There's a little ridge right here. The little ridge that's right underneath the chamber, that can get really gunky a lot, so make sure you attack that. Then once you feel like you've done a good job, go back with the toothbrush. Nice. If you're looking for more biathlon specific drills or guidance for our unique sport, head on over to biathlonu.com where you will find loads of biathlon resources for biathletes of every age and ability level. All right, next we're gonna focus on the barrel. Obviously, if there's anything on the exterior of the barrel, like rust or something like that, you gotta get rid of that immediately. But for the most part, we're gonna focus on the inside. Now let's see if we can see some rifling action here. Sometimes if you go like this and then you look towards the light, you can see a bunch of gunk in your barrel. Oh yeah, my rifle's hella dirty. So I like to take the barrel cleaner, all right? And I like to throw a little cleaner on a rag. I'm gonna just take this and I'm just gonna throw this bore cleaner onto the, somewhere in the middle of this snake here. Just get rid of any like fibers like this, just because you don't want that stuff in your barrel. Next, you want to try to feed the brass end of the bore snake into the chamber where the bullet goes. And actually, I did a pretty good job considering I got the camera in front of me. You're going to do that all the way till it comes out the bottom. I like to grab it here, wrap it around my finger so I don't lose it, flip the rifle back over, and then pull it straight through. Bam. All right, so that's one pass. I like to do it at least 3 or 4 times, and here's why. The first one is about getting the gun cleaner through the barrel and like kind of getting rid of all that gunk. Then the next couple times, sending a dry to kind of clean out that gun cleaner. So you want to do it a few times through, but you always want to leave it dry. You don't want to just do one and done. So I'm going to do that right now. Come on. Boom. Number 4. All right. Every once in a while, you might see a little bit of gunk build up here. So I like to take a little toothbrush, wipe it down, and while we're here, we'll take our little friend here, the Mr. Air Compressor. Now that is pretty much everything that I will do to clean my rifle. Now this is super important, so pay attention. Do not use WD-40 anywhere on the rifle. A lot of people think that, oh, I'll get some WD-40 and make my bolt super smooth, super fast, and it might do that for, maybe the first couple times you use it, but WD-40 is water-based and it'll actually, over time, it'll rust. And I've actually, believe it or not, I've heard stories of people using water-based lubricants in their rifle, and then in a below freezing day, that the little bit of lubricant that they have still left in their bolt will expand in the cold, in the freezing conditions, and it's been known to crack things in their bolt. Don't use WD-40. The best way to keep your bolt smooth and your bolt fast is to just keep your rifle clean and free of gunk. All right, so the bolt is where you're actually going to want to spend a majority of your time, but look at how dirty and gunky that is. Everything up here that actually touches the bullet is super gross. So I'm going to take the brush and I'm just going to go to town. But the thing that the brush did not get, that you're going to want to take the toothpick for, and this is probably the most important thing you have the toothpick for, is this situation, is these little prongs right here. So this little black thing and this little black thing that stick out right here and right here, that is what actually grips onto the bullet to slide it forward into the chamber and then pull it back after you're done and you go to rebolt. And if you can't see the little claw part because there's so much gunk, underneath there. So really get on under there with the dental pick and get that guy nice and clean. And then go back and forth, dental pick to brush, because as you pull a bunch of stuff out, it's just going to be sitting on the face there. You'll get the brush out, pull it away, and then go back to the dental pick and get some more of it. Now while I'm here, I like to take the dental pick and kind of run it up this groove here. You know, just try to find all these little nooks and crannies that you can stick the dental pick in. Same thing on this side. So remember that it's important first to get the gunk off and out of the rifle before we start cleaning. So grab your Hoppe's number 9, lubricating gun oil, just a few drops, doesn't need to be soaked. I just like to go up and down all over the bolt, get it on the face, and then get the little ball bearings here, keep those clean, and then just kind of, you know, use your fingers to try to get in the little pieces here. All right, so we did the bolt, right? We're good. Not yet. We actually want to take a clean rag now, a dry rag, and just wipe down everything that you just did. Put some love into taking care of your rifle, and it'll treat you well for years to come. When you're cleaning, all you really need to do is take the bolt out of the rifle, clean off especially the face of the bolt, wipe down everything else, and you should be good to go for cleaning. But if you need to access your firing pin, click this link and I'll have an entire video about how to take your bolt completely apart. All right, now that we've got everything cleaned up and all the gunk is gone, we want to put the rifle back together. And now here's the tricky part. I recommend holding the bolt like this, so that way you can apply some pressure here and pull this little notch back. With the notch pulled back, you're gonna slide the bolt back into the rifle like this. You're gonna keep it pulled back, slide it forward, slide it through the little notch there, and then once it's past that little hump, and you'll be able to slide the bolt back and forth. Here is now the tricky part that everyone has an issue with. This thread right here, getting it back into the rifle, is super finicky, and most people who try to pull their rifle apart have a hard time getting this back together. So the best way that I have found to get this back together is to actually put the front sight on the ground, so that way the rifle is standing up straight, and with just using gravity, just rotate this piece around until a thread catches. And for some reason, this is way harder than it should be, but if you just apply, you know, a little bit of downward force and just keep rotating it, eventually the threads will catch. So once you've rotated it all the way around, you want to line up this little notch with this notch. We have this notch that's already lined up. We have the key that we pulled out earlier, which you can also wipe down while it's out. You're going to slide it in through here, and then sometimes you'll have to rotate this to get it perfect. And then last aspect is to take this piece, just like we did before. We're going to pull it out, rotate it until it clicks. Bam! And just like that, our bolt is back in the rifle. Final piece of the puzzle now, I like to rest the rifle on my lap like this. I use the magazine chamber as my, my guide to getting the stock back in the right spot. Take your bedding bolts, drop it back into place, grab your Allen wrench, or righty-tighty. Now in tightening the rifle to the stock, you actually don't want it to be as tight as you can. You want there to be a little bit of a recoil in the shot. So what I like to do, there is a special tool that Anschutz makes, but if you don't have the tool, what I like to do is I like to go until it's kind of tight and I can't turn it very much without, using a lot of pressure. Then I'll go back to the other one and I'll turn that one just a little bit until there's no pressure, a little bit of pressure. Then I'll go back to the front one and apply just a little bit more just so I know it's tight. Same thing on the back one. Voila, we're back in business. We got a rifle that's attached and we're ready to go. Take a brush and just wipe off that little red part in there. Hoppe's number 9, the lubricating gun oil, just wipe down all around the magazine. Keep that rust off. Definitely get the front of the red tab here because that's where the actual lead part of the bullet is. Wipe it down with a dry rag and boom, there you go. Do that times 4 and now you got clean magazines as well.